What's good, y'all? It's the Dark Kage here, and today we're gonna be recording part 7 to What If Issei Was a Saiyan. Now, I know I haven't recorded in probably a year now, just cause I've been busy and shit like that, but I'm back. I'm gonna be recording at least daily, at least try to be recording daily, rather it be a short or it be like a What If video. But anyway, roll that intro, editor. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm gonna be real. It's been, 2 years since I did part 6. I don't fucking remember what happened in part 6. And, like, my audio was so weird back then to where you can't even tell what the fuck I was saying. So, we just gonna start. We really gonna be, like, if I ever make a compilation video, like, we're really just gonna start off with part 7. Cause, like, I'm finna, like, retell whatever I could have told in part 6. Okay, so basically, Issei gets up and he notices that Riz is on furs on top of him, right? Because furs, Issei saved her in part 5 and stopped the whole arranged marriage thing, and as you know, he unlocks Super Saiyan. Mind you, he's not unlocking Super Saiyan 3 or nothing like that in this part. I just thought the picture looked cool and it would be pretty cool for a thumbnail, so only reason. But yeah, and eventually Stella walks in and notices that, because that's the ship. She notices that Reese Grimmer is laying on top of that, which is surprising. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all. Well, I didn't forget to tell y'all. Y'all know this already, but they're connected through the master servant contract. I'm like kind of like remembering this entire lore of this series like as I'm talking like right now. But yeah, so like as you expect, all that shit would happen, and like it would be kind of awkward for like the both of them, and eventually like Issei would be able to out explain like what happened, and then like Rias would like thank him again for like saving her because like she did not want to be in that arranged marriage at all. I mean, who wants to be in an arranged marriage to begin with, Chad? Shit, I know I wouldn't want to be in one, but like that's besides the point for real. But yeah, so eventually they all go to school. And first, of course, I can know jokes about first Reese and Issa being a thing, but still it gets defensive because that's her man. Her man, her man, her man. But no, first they get shit done and shit like that. Eventually, Reese and her Parage go out to handle first the devil that was on the loose, while Issei and Stella is just doing their own thing. Issei is just in this room just training type shit, and first doing push-ups, and first doing actually like one finger push-ups and stuff like that, and Stella's training with her blade, and first using the vermilion power of flames, and practicing with that so she can catch up to Issei because he's gotten a lot stronger than he was before. But Issei, he's thought about it and he wants to unlock something new. Issei wants to be able to stack his. Sorry about that, y'all. Issei wants to be able to stack his Kaioken on top of his Super Saiyan form without causing too much strain on his body because he's aware that the strain could cause a lot on his body. Now, y'all, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and check, but I actually don't remember if he's supposed to be a double or not. I know him and Solar are connected through the Master and Serpent contract, but I don't know if like he ever became a devil. Cause I remember him dying, I think, or something like that, y'all. And then like first Stella had brung him back or something like that, or maybe he brung her back, one of the two. I literally can't remember now. But yeah, like Issei notices that Kiba, because him and Kiba are still friends, I think. First, you notice that Kiba is like off, and he goes to help his friend. At first, of course, and Kiba says, "Wait, Kibo really wouldn't be feeling anything. No, he still would feel some type of way, even though he didn't see the Holy Sword. Now that I think about it, Kibo, the path he was going on in the original show, it would have still eventually brought him down to where he was. So, never mind. Because I had to remember that Issei's not a devil, so they wouldn't have no reason for him to they wouldn't have no reason for him to even go through his family's old scrapbook, basically. Alright, y'all, I found out when I edited the video that first I went back and watched some of my old videos and found out I gave him Zangetsu first, the Bankai version is his sword, and then first he can also carry Zangetsu first when it's in the Shikai as well. So just for a heads up, so you don't have to go watch those old ass videos. Suddenly, Issei senses a familiar energy source at his front door, so instantly he gets up and walks over to it. By the way, in this world, ki still exists. It's just dormant within a person, and magic isn't like your energy source, but it represents an ability anybody can learn, just like in Dragon Ball, by the way. Because as you know, magic is also in Dragon Ball. But yeah, so he walks to the front door. He has his guard up. As he walks, as like two women walks in, two priests specifically. That being, of course, Zenobia and Fars Erina. And Issei recognizes one of them, but barely. But she hugs him tightly, and that being Erina. Erina's surprised with how much taller Issei has gotten and how much buffer he's gotten. Of course, Stella breaks it up, and she asks Issei who this is. Issei says he has no clue. And then Erina says, "You don't remember me? We used to be best friends when we were little." And then Issei starts to put two and two together. Erina? He says with confusion, not knowing that it's Erina. And then she said, "Yeah, I was wondering, could you help me out with a few things?" Issei said, first not what Issei says, Erina says. He says, "What's up? Do you think you can give me a place, me and my friend here, a place to live for just for a week?" And then Issei said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." But of course, Zenobia says, "That's not really a good idea," and shit like that. And they eventually go to the church and just deal with that. But Issei, since, not Issei, because he was kind of invested on. But Stella, she invested that they were, I said invested, Lord. She sensed that they were both first wielders of holy, energy and stuff like that. Issei, he peeped that too, but he wasn't really paying too much attention because, they didn't come there on no bullshit or no BS, so he wasn't finna be on nobody's ass, for real, for real. Kiba still runs into Freed Sozin, as you would expect, and that encounter would go as you would expect because Kiba will find out that Freed Sozin has a holy blade. A holy blade is the only thing that you know can hurt a devil. And eventually, of course, when we go to the ORC the next day, everybody's sitting there, Issei standing up, of course. Well, he's really just meditating. He's doing image training while he's in there. But eventually, Issei, he senses first Zenobia and Erina's presence again. This is when he opens his eyes, and then he puts his feet back on the ground. And he notices that Fars, they're standing there, which he says confused for why the priests are at a school, and he wonders how they got in, but he stops questioning stuff because he knows that this world is extremely weird. But he figures it was probably Sona, letting him in. But no, so then they begin to speak business. Zenobia begins to explain and Fars about how a lot of the Fars' great holy blades have been missing. Well, the Excalibur specifically, have been missing. And she even shows how her and Erina both have Excaliburs. So Zenobia having the Holy Blade of Destruction, and then Erina having the Holy Blade of Copy. And first, that's what was wrapped up on her back. Issei figured that because that's where he sensed all of the holy magic at for her. But with Erina, he barely sensed any from her. And she says because she suppressed her energy a lot due to her having the Holy Blade of Copy and it being on her wrist.
and Issei being surprised of how adept she is at her magic. And he was like, not bad. But yeah, but eventually Zenobia would make the point that she doesn't want the devils interfering on the business with the church. And then Reese, of course, gets ticked off because she wonders, like, why would they even care about handling anything like that? And Zenobia goes on her rant about, fallen angels and devils are naturally, are inclined to work together. Reese looks at her like she's crazy because she doesn't really like, Reese doesn't really like fallen angels to begin with. Issei especially doesn't like fallen angels. But yeah, she continues to go on and on about it. And eventually, as you would expect, it would go to Asia. And, so this is when first they proceed to walk outside. Issei cracks his knuckles and his neck because he's excited to fight somebody because he hasn't fought nobody in a minute. And he proceeds to power up. And this is when he rushes at Irina dodges his attack. And this is when he pulls out Zangetsu. He pulls out Zangetsu using magic. And this is when her and him get into a sword clash. As Issei, he bodies her, honestly. Like, this was pretty easy for him. But, as you would expect, Zenobia, she easily defeats Kiba. And this is when Zenobia looks at Issei and she rushes at him. Now, she said, interesting. You don't fight like the rest of them. She said, you're not a devil, are you? Issei, he nods as he shakes his head. He's not a devil at all. Because she senses that she doesn't feel any of his energy from me. She says, I don't know what you are, actually. And this is when Issei said, neither do I. And this is when Irina, she's thanking God that Issei didn't first turn into a devil. And she's glad that he's still human or something. He just has mysterious powers. But yeah, so this is when Issei knows he has to dodge all of Zenobia's attacks because she has the sword of I was going to say her actual, or she has the sword of destruction. That's how you know I haven't watched this shit in a minute. But yeah, and he proceeds to turn his sword into the Shikai form to make it more of a fair fight. And unlike Kiba, Issei knows how to fight with a big ass sword, because why wouldn't he? Because Issei's just overpowered. And he proceeds to kick her in the stomach, sending her back. And this is where he then appears behind her and puts his sword now back in its skinny form to her neck and says it's over. And this is when she said, it's not bad, not bad. She says, would you be willing to help us in our quest to get the holy swords back? And he said, yeah, I could. It has been getting pretty bored, he says. Oh, yeah, well, no, it has been getting pretty bored. He said, I've been pretty bored. And this is when he looks at Stella, and he says, hey, Stella, come here. This is when Stella walks over, and he says, like, if I'm doing this, she gotta come with me, deal. And this is when Zenobia says, all right, deal. As Issei then says, but you guys are gonna be living with me because y'all are not finna have he said y'all are not finna be staying at that church. And then she says, how do you know that? He says, because I can sense your energy. I can sense everybody on this planet's energy. Every human has a source of ki in their body. It's fake. Well, I said it's fake. It's weak. It's very weak, but it's still there. And she then asks, what is ki? He says, I'll explain it to you when we get home. Well, when I get back to my crib, he says. But yeah, so this is when, like, they're just surprised with all the shit that Issei knows how to do. And we're going to actually end this part off right here. Part 7 to what if Issei was a Saiyan. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it's not too long, but this is going to, like, be my normal, length, 14-15 minutes now. And I'll first want to announce that my schedule should be every other day. But right now I might be uploading every single day just first to get a schedule straight. But I should be uploading every other day. Well, anyway, we out. Hold me
close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.